Alrighty, welcome back everybody to another Max Velocity weather live stream. I hope everybody's having a good evening so far. We do have a pretty busy evening because we do have some severe weather ongoing in the southern plains right now. Actually, in southern Oklahoma is where we do have an ongoing tornado warning in effect for those actually near Sulphur, Oklahoma. So this is kind of in between Gainesville, Texas to Oklahoma City, right along Interstate 35. We do have an ongoing tornado warning, which is starting to pick up on rotation. So rotation's actually strengthening right now with this cell as it continues to track out to the east. Current areas include Davis, Sulphur, Hickory, as well as going through Rofe. Those areas are currently included in a tornado warning until 8:45 this evening, which is another about 20 minutes or so for this region. Currently on the velocities radar, we are seeing some rotation still ongoing. It is currently located just to the southwest of areas near Sulphur, and my pen is not working, so let me go and restart that real quick. But currently this is moving off to the east northeast. This will be eventually heading towards areas near Stonewall and then eventually going towards Colgate over the next several minutes. So make sure you seek shelter immediately away from windows and lowest floor possible. We do have another tornado warning that just got issued. This one is a little bit further off to the north and east. This has been a storm that has been rotating for quite some time. This is currently near Ada. This is actually a brand new tornado warning and has actually some fairly strong rotation beginning to brew. Make sure that you seek shelter immediately away from windows and lowest floor possible if you're in the track of this tornado warning, which will be going towards Francis, Allen, as well as anywhere right along Route 1. That is where this new tornado warning has just been issued. Let me pull up the pen real quick so I can start drawing here on the map. But again, rotation is beginning to now strengthen. This is heading towards Ada, which has actually recently had a tornado, I believe, last year. So again, here's your rotation right now. This will be moving off to the northeast over the next several minutes. Current locations included are on the left side of your screen. Also includes areas like Francis in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So two big tornado warnings that have just been issued in the last few minutes. Also, this is the widespread view of what's happening here across Oklahoma. We have storms that actually extend all the way back up into Tulsa, but the main area of severe weather in the southern plains over the next few hours will be in this yellow boxed area. That is our severe thunderstorm watch. We are watching this area fairly closely for all modes of severe weather. As you can see, we're already seeing that sort of threat going right now. We have tornadoes, we have large hail, and some pretty high damaging winds as well. We have a couple of pockets of winds upwards of 70 miles per hour. One of them right now located just west right now of Ada. That will be moving off to the east northeast. And then back a little bit further to the south is where we have a large chunk of storms just west of Ardmore associated with this line of storms that is also producing not just half-dollar sized hail, but also 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. So we have a couple of concerning areas right now, but if you are in Ada right now, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. This is the latest radar scan on this storm, and again, that is where your rotation is right now. We could see a tornado at any time, so you want to make sure you get to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible as this storm continues to move off to the north and east. And again, this does include Seminole County, Oklahoma as well, so if you're in that area, make sure that you are seeking shelter. Dangerous storm for sure. This one's been rotating, by the way. I've been watching the storm for the last half an hour. It has been rotating ever since I started looking at it, so clearly this is going to be a storm that's going to be tornado warned here for a little while as there is some strengthening rotation. The other storm that is near Sulphur had some rotation beginning to strengthen there for a little bit. It does seem to be weakening just a little bit. If we go a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, you may be able to notice here about a few minutes ago, their rotation just isn't overly impressive here. Winds are definitely high. We're talking upwards of 60 to 70 mile per hour damaging winds, but it does seem like that rotation is struggling to come together here. But one thing to note is that this storm has had a reported wall cloud recently, so there is at least some sort of rotation in the lower levels beginning to develop with this storm near Sulphur. But again, the bigger concern right now will be this storm moving off to the northeast near Ada that is currently moving pretty quickly, about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Let's go and put a little timing guide on this storm, give you an idea of when you can expect this storm over the next several minutes. Let me shift that over to here. Again, about 30 to 35 miles per hour. We'll increase this just a little bit. I'm also going to put this back under reflectivity, and let's kind of put a little track onto this cluster of storms here. So a little bit of a broader area to kind of look at with this one storm. So timing is on the left side of your screen. Again, give or take about 5 to 10 minutes, which with each of these times, this is just a general estimate. But Ada within the next 10 minutes, I would expect it at your doorstep within the next 5 minutes. So get to your safe place if you're in Ada. But eventually going towards Francis in about 16 minutes. minutes, Allen about 34 minutes, Calvin 50 minutes, Stewart 64 minutes, Indianola right around 99 minutes, so quite a ways from you right now, as well as Crowder and Canadian in Oklahoma, probably within about 2 hours or so is when you can expect this storm. So that's your timing right now, again, on this tornado-warned cell that has some pretty strong rotation brewing just right now to the west of Ada. This is, again, looking at the current velocities radar. This was the latest scan as of literally just about 30 seconds ago. Rotation is attempting to strengthen here, so we'll have to watch this storm very closely. Correlation coefficient not picking up in any debris right now, which is good news, but again, this could very well intensify and very well produce a tornado at any point as the storm continues to move off to the east and northeast. Pretty strong inflow as well going into the storm. We do have a hail core on the northern end of this storm as well, producing probably around ping pong ball sized hail, so it is a fairly organized cell right now, and this is a bit more of a closer look at things right now. And again, 19 and 3 are currently where that rotation is, right along 19. This is right about where the rotation is. It's kind of in that little couplet right there. Let's go back over to the velocities. I believe these just updated. Yeah, just updated again. This radar is updating every minute or two, so it's quickly updating. This is where the rotation is now located. It's about a couple of miles west of Ada. It is continuing to move off to the northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Quick update on the storm near Sulphur. This one still has some rotation as well. Winds are right around 60 to 70 miles per hour as well with this storm, so we are seeing a combined threats with the supercell thunderstorms, probably even a little bit of hail as well, probably around quarter size just west of Hickory. But this storm right now moving off to the east northeast. Rotation has weakened a little bit, which is good news, but we'll have to watch that pretty closely as it continues to unfold. All right, we're gonna primarily focus on this tornado warning for now, as this does approach a pretty populated area. This warning does not expire until 9:15, so another 45 minutes on this tornado warning, so we'll be keeping a close eye on this one here over the next several minutes. Thank you, Mystic, for becoming a Storm Chaser member for half a year. Appreciate that. Thank you. How's everybody doing, by the way? Welcome on in. Hope everybody's having a good evening. It has been a busy week so far for me. It's been busy, so I'm glad you guys are all tuning in. We do have a new report of a 50 mile per hour wind gust in Mears, Oklahoma, by the way, or 53 miles per hour, excuse me. So that's our most recent report there. Currently, by the way, 35,000 people are in this tornado warning, for anybody that's wondering. So this is, again, near Ada. It'll be eventually going towards Allen and Gertie. So those areas will be in the track of this here pretty soon. And as well as the other one down here to the south and west, Hickory and Sulphur are the current locations included in that tornado warning. So again, we do have 2 tornado warnings ongoing. Let me update that warning count for you, and we also have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's our current warning count here across the southern plains, and we can actually bring up the infrared imagery here on the map. Let me go and bring that up real quick. It is kind of impressive what we're looking at here with this entire system. And yeah, look at this. So let's start off the radar real quick, but this is the evolution of this area of storms here over the last few hours. It has blown up over Oklahoma, and you might be wondering, Texas is in a severe thunderstorm watch. Where are the storms? Well, the big thing is there is a cap in place, a pretty strong cap over DFW specifically, but it is a pretty strong capped environment, meaning a temperature inversion a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, and what that's preventing from happening is clouds rising to a certain level. So we are not going to see many supercell thunderstorms south of the Red River Valley this evening due to that cap being in place. There is a severe thunderstorm watch as a precautionary measure. Will we see any supercells this far to the south? Probably not, but there is a possibility still if this cap does erode enough, which is not forecasted right now, but it is a possibility. We are also monitoring the threat for storms back over in the Mississippi Valley as well. Let's turn back on the radar and take this off, and let's go back really quickly to Memphis. And yeah, you can see some storms are bubbling up just south of Memphis, Tennessee right now. None of these severe at this time, but we will be watching those if they are able to develop over the next little while. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in any tornado, really significant tornado threat back over near the Mississippi Valley tonight. I've kind of looked at the computer models recently. I'm not seeing anything that too concerning. There might be a couple of tornadoes, but it shouldn't be a widespread event by any means. There is an enhanced risk of severe weather out that direction, but I would honestly have to go and say right now, this is probably the more significant of the 2 areas for right now. Later this evening and into the overnight hours, though, things will really begin to ramp up. Widespread storm coverage is expected overnight back over to the east, so we might see some severe weather embedded in some of those storms, but it is currently been, so far, I believe the environment's a bit capped over there too, so it has been a struggle for some of those storms to develop as well. By the way, for those in Ada, you need to be in shelter immediately. This is from the latest from the National Weather Service of Norman. They just posted like a minute ago. Make sure you get into shelter. Obviously, you should be in shelter if you're in Ada, Oklahoma right now. Again, rotation is not tight and confined to the point where there's definitely a tornado on the ground, but there is definitely some strong rotation here, and it could tighten at any time. Regardless, we are still talking about wind gusts upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour here, and along with the threat for some ping pong ball sized hail on the northern side of this ongoing tornado warning. So again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. We'll also be watching the tornado warning near Sulphur if anything does come out of that here over the next few minutes. Let's go back over to the reflectivity. This is the current look at that storm. It is starting to turn a bit more off to the north and east now. It's actually going a little bit further to the north than it was just a moment ago. It looked like it would have a direct impact on Ada. It's actually going slightly a bit more off to the north, so might hit the northern side of the town if there's any tornado here. We are definitely seeing some hail out there as well. We've had a few reports of hail already this evening. That would be where that hail is. It's going to be back up here near Bing. Again, just along 377, moving off to the east northeast. So that'll be a little hail core there that we're watching. Pretty elongated hail core as well. So definitely an area to watch here over the next several minutes. But again, this storm currently moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of one of the things with news stations is they have a limit usually on forecasts and stuff like that. They can't make 10, 15, 20-minute forecasts. On YouTube, recently I've been making 8-minute forecasts, and I try to explain things a bit more than, you know, typically like news stations would, because they only get like a 2 to 3 minute slot usually every 15 to 30 minutes, and they're typically just repeating the things that they said before in those time slots. I try to, you know, explain things more since I have obviously no time limit, even though I do try to stay within about 8 minutes. Recently I've put my videos closer to 8 minutes. I used to do 5, 6, but people are liking the longer videos, so I'll just keep it that way for now. They're more descriptive, so that's a good thing. Thanks, Roderick, for the report. Appreciate it. Yay for the caps. I know, right? The cap. It's not caps. It can't be plural. I don't think, at least. But yeah, the cap has been very, very generous tonight for North Texas. And it really, you know, I posted this on Twitter last night. Even Reed Timmer agreed with me. I mean, like, he was thinking about chasing in DFW or whatever. And I was like, nah, you probably shouldn't. I mean, the percent chance of you or there being a cap tomorrow is like, you know, 60, 70%. And it clearly so far has been that way. So, you know, DFW has this weird thing where there's almost always a cap with these severe weather events. There, you know, sometimes there's like an enhanced day or a moderate threat day, and then a cap comes into play and we don't see anything. We had that last year, actually. There was actually, it was the last day of my college finals, and I was driving home really quickly because I knew there would be an outbreak in the Southern Plains, and DFW ended up having a cap. I was only covering far northwestern North Texas, and that was technically north central Texas. That was when we had that Vernon tornado. For those that might be familiar with that one, Vernon, I can't remember the other town name. There was another one there, but that was a big event that I covered. That was one of my first ever quote-unquote nationwide live streams, and now I do a bunch of them. So but yeah, all right, real quick new update on the severe thunderstorm warning a little bit further up or down, excuse me, to the south, back near Springer, Interstate 35. This warning has been downgraded to 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Bit of a weakening cell there. We are still watching a couple of storms back just to the west along the dry line. Those are east of Wichita Falls. More concerningly, though, we do have 2 tornado warnings ongoing. This is the latest on the tornado warning in Ada. Look at this. I mean, this is pretty strong rotation right now over the city of Ada, moving off to the northeast. Make sure you are in your safe place right now, away from windows, lowest floor possible, in an interior room of your home or building. Again, this is right now the rotation over Ada, Oklahoma. This is moving quickly off to the northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Francis and Bing will be next in the track of this, and it will eventually go towards areas near Allen and along 1 within the next 20-ish minutes. So make sure you get to your safe place, and if you're out in front of this storm, have your safety plan in place, because again, this has been pretty strong rotation. I would not be surprised if we have a tornado touchdown at any time here. Correlation coefficient, I believe there's a wall cloud, by the way, with this. I'm going to double check. But yeah, currently strong rotation, nothing on the correlation coefficient. If we go a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, there is likely some sort of lowering, maybe a wall cloud of some sort here. So we do have some sort of low-level rotation with this supercell. But for right now, I don't know if we have any confirmed reports yet of a wall cloud with this. I will double check. Not at this time. I don't see any confirmed reports yet, but there might be a wall cloud with this. Very, very strong rotation over Ada, moving off to the northeast. Thank you, Linda, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Hey, Twister, how you doing? Live in DFW, you're in luck if you don't want to see severe weather, because there's a pretty strong cap there right now. Mystic, if you want more information on the winter storm, check out my forecast from yesterday. That has all the details. I was going to actually include that in today's forecast, but I had no time at the end. There was literally like an 8.5-minute forecast on just severe weather. I might discuss a little bit later if there's no huge severe weather warnings or anything like that. I might discuss some winter stuff, but for right now, we're going to primarily focus on the severe weather. Hey, Bill, how you doing? New update on the tornado warning. It does no longer include a small sliver of areas just west here near 19. So small sliver there. I'm not sure what locations are. I don't think there's really anything here, but that little chunk just got taken out since the rotation is currently centered along 377, a couple miles north right now of Ada. I think somebody corrected me in the chat for Ada. I might be saying it wrong. Is that the correct pronunciation? Ada? Ada? Is that it? Ada? Hey, Caden, how you doing? Hey, Karen, how you doing? From Massachusetts. Hope you're doing well. How's it going, Scorpion? Let's see. All right, so Seminole, again, Seminole, Oklahoma, that's the county right now that we're watching. A couple of different counties. Hughes County is also included, again, in this tornado warning. Strong rotation located a couple of miles north of Ada. Ada, okay, thank you. So yeah, a couple miles north of Ada right now, moving off to the north and east. The last time I covered Oklahoma severe weather, by the way, was back in either May or June of last year. It has been a while since I've covered at least this far south in Oklahoma. I typically, I've had a few live streams in Oklahoma, but this is probably one of the first in a while. All right, 8:40 right now, Central Time, 8:41. This is the latest radar scan on the velocities. Strong rotation currently located a couple miles north of Ada. Moving off to the northeast, Francis will be in the track of this in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Allen, about another 10 to 15 minutes. Get to your safe place as soon as possible. The storm that's a bit further down to the south will not continue a tornado warning for right now. It will be a severe thunderstorm warned storm instead, currently for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and a little bit of quarter-sized hail. This does not have a whole lot of rotation left, and I was mentioning that before. It didn't. Yeah, it seems like it's fizzling out pretty quickly here. We definitely have a nice little couplet here, though, of damaging winds, most likely near 60 miles per hour, approaching Hickory, Oklahoma. And that's what we're watching there right now, though, moving off to the east northeast. And this cell does have a pretty decent inflow, by the way. It is a discrete supercell. We do have a little inflow, so it might re-strengthen down the road, but for right now, it does not have a whole lot of rotation left. The main concern here will be near Ada. And by the way, we do have a confirmed report as of 4 minutes ago on the northwest side of Ada. That is for quarter-sized hail. So that is actually, by the way, with the red here on the map. So you can only imagine the hail back up here is probably much larger back near Bing in Francis. That might be upwards of ping pong to maybe even golf ball sized hail a little bit further off to the north. This is you know, the reflectivity here, it's just red. It's on the bit of more of the heavy rain. This is when we're talking about very heavy rain is back up this direction. So little keynote to kind of keep in mind here. We can actually pull up the hail radar here and see what the hail radar is indicating in terms of the hailstone sizes here. And yeah, funny enough, actually here near Ada, it's about a quarter-sized hail. A little bit further up here to the north, it is probably a little bit larger than that. So I wouldn't rule out it's maybe closer to, you know, golf ball sized hail. Wouldn't be out of the question. Latest radar scan just came in. This is still the strong rotation that we're watching, about 3 to 4 miles now to the northeast of Ada. This is the correlation coefficient, giving us an idea of if there's any debris being lofted up into the atmosphere, and I'm not seeing any of that right now, which is good news. This is not rain wrapped, by the way, so if there are any storm chasers out there, it should not be rain wrapped at this point, at least from my knowledge. But obviously, if you are a resident in the area, get to your safe place. No reason to try to see this, especially since it's nighttime, by the way. These are nocturnal tornadoes. They are very difficult to see to begin with, unless you get a really good flash of lightning. And let me actually real quickly check. I'm not sure how much lightning we do have out there right now. Let's pull that up and see how much lightning we have with these storms. So yeah, currently a lot of lightning involved with the storm near I believe it was Springer, right along Interstate 35. About 195 strikes per minute right now. That ranges from Tulsa back through about Wichita Falls. So there is definitely a lot of lightning out there. The storms approaching Memphis, Tennessee, which are not severe, are currently producing lightning strikes upwards of 130 per minute. So there's a lot of lightning with these storms for sure. This is the latest radar scan, by the way. So still some, you know, moderate to maybe strong rotation here. We may have a lowering with this, not confirmed yet, but there may be a wall cloud. So We are still awaiting to see if that does come out of this storm at all, but at this point, no confirmation of a wall cloud. We did have a wall cloud confirmation with the storm back near Sulphur about 20 to 30 minutes ago. No longer an issue there. Obviously, the rotation, you can't really see much of anything here. It's just really no rotation at all really remaining here. If anything, it's very broad in the upper levels. So some good news there for now, but it is discrete, so there is some bad news. It very well could re-strengthen as that storm continues to push off to the east. But this tornado warning is set to expire in just a moment. Tornado warning count will stay at 1. We're going to keep it there since this tornado warning is about to expire. And we'll be down to 4 total warnings, including the more significant tornado warning right now near Bing and Francis, moving off to the northeast. So again, if you're in this area, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. That is, again, where that rotation is centered. Some strong rotation, again, moving off to the northeast. Francis will be in the track in just a couple minutes. How's my night going? It's been pretty busy, but it's going well. I'm glad that, honestly, the thing was tonight, I mentioned this on Twitter, I was thinking about going live on both Facebook and YouTube if severe weather was ongoing here in Oklahoma and Texas. Texas isn't seeing any severe weather, though, so I'm just live here on YouTube tonight. So I can interact more on the YouTube chat. When I have 2 chats open, it gets, pretty hectic, but we only have 1 open, so I can interact a bit more here. Hey, Jay, how you doing? From Ohio. Hope you're doing well. Runaway, this is currently in Oklahoma. Sandra, you do have a chance actually for severe weather. It is not as low as DFW. If we go a little bit further down here to the south, let's go back onto the reflectivity. This is where our main area of severe weather is. That's where there really isn't any cap in place anymore. Clearly, there's a lot of storms there, so we don't really have any temperature inversion up here to the north. Down here near DFW, the cap is pretty strong, and it's a bit weaker near Fannin County, so anywhere near Paris through Sherman. The cap is weakening a bit more. These storms will arrive around 10 to 12 o'clock tonight over that direction near the Red River. Now, if they develop is a big question mark. They probably will to some extent, but I don't know if they'll be severe at this point. The HR model has been hinting at them not really being that severe just south of the Red River if there are any severe storm or any storms in general that do develop. So cap is still a big question mark there, but so far it has remained very strong in DFW. Near the Red River, it does get a bit weaker. Obviously, north of the Red River, there's not much of any cap tonight. So Oklahoma is dealing with the brunt of the severe weather for tonight. There might be an isolated severe storm, though, that rides right along the Red River, so we'll have to watch that closely. Hey, King Cheese, how you doing? Welcome back. Hey, Dylan, how's it going? Is Jaws in here? I don't think so. I haven't talked to Jaws in a while. I also haven't really been live much recently. This is only like 4th live stream, I think, in the past month. There hasn't been a whole lot of severe weather, but still. All right, so the cap. I know a lot of people ask, what is the cap? I actually have 2 tutorial videos. I have 5 weather tutorials on YouTube. 2 of them consist of the cap, and but I'll give you a brief explanation. So what the cap is a temperature inversion a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, and you're probably, and you might not even know what an inversion is, and a temperature inversion. It's kind of crazy, right? But basically, as we go up into the atmosphere, the temperature typically cools. But the issue is sometimes the upper or the mid-level, so around 700 millibars or so, sometimes the temperature is actually warmer, and it gets a little bit warmer, and then it goes down to colder again. But that little temperature inversion can sometimes prevent clouds from bubbling up. It kind of is like a little lid. It's almost like a lid on like a, I don't know, like a crock pot or something like that. It's kind of like a little lid. And eventually, if the cap is overcome by warmer temperatures or the mid-level temperature lowering, we can sometimes eventually see those clouds actually build up to a supercell length or a supercell height to that point. So that's kind of like a brief explanation. I have a detailed one that's 6 minutes and like a 2-minute one. You can go to the playlist tab and you can watch one if you want. But yeah, that's essentially what the cap is. It's just basically preventing clouds from lifting above a certain height. That's the most simplistic way to put it. And the cap plays a big part in severe weather all across the Great Plains. The Texas area, especially North Texas, has the biggest thing with the cap because it's much more common in Texas. It gets a little bit more uncommon as you go further to the north, but Oklahoma, it's also pretty common. So yeah, anywhere in the Great Plains, though, the cap does play a pretty big part in severe weather for sure. Cap alien, right? All right, let's go back over to the velocities radar. Again, this storm does have some fairly strong rotation. Latest scan, it is a little bit broader now. Again, moving towards Allen near Francis. So again, if you're in this area, make sure you get to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible. It does have damaging winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. We've seen quarter-sized hail confirmed with this storm, but it does seem like it's starting to kind of lose its organization here a little bit, which is good news. It might become a bit more disorganized here over the next several minutes as that continues to move off to the east-northeast. The severe thunderstorm warning does include 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds and ping-pong ball-sized hail, so those threats are not out of the question with this supercell as it continues to track out towards Allen. Let's go and put that timing guide back on here. Let's give you an idea of where this storm is heading, and I'll actually put a bunch of these storms on here. We'll do this entire little cluster here of severe storms that extends all the way back down. I don't know where that even is, but it's a little bit further down to the south and east. Here is a look at the timing though over the next several minutes. So again, give or take 5 to 10 minutes on here, but Stonewall within the next 10 minutes, Allen right around 10 minutes from now, maybe about 15, Holdenville right around 17 minutes, Stewart will be in about 40 minutes, McAllister, which is a bit more populated, we've seen tornadoes there actually quite recently, 72 minutes from now, so just a little over an hour. Indianola will be about 76 minutes from now, Krebs about 76 minutes, Crowder in about an hour and a half or so, and Canadian right around an hour and a half, and Longtown will just be over an hour and a half from now. So that's the current timing. By the way, I've done these timing guides before. Do you guys like it more like this with the minutes instead of the actual time, or do you like it the other way? Because this is in minutes. It's like 8 minutes from now it'll be there or something like that. Do you guys like this more, or should I go back to the actual time? So I'm kind of curious because I actually like this more, but yeah, that's the timing. All right, let's go back down to this storm. And we'll stay on the velocities here for just a second. Next radar scan comes in just a moment. The minutes look a lot more clean. Jelly, I've been doing all right. It's been busy. Been busy. I just got done 2 exams, though, earlier this week. So I'm over those exams. I have a nice long weekend coming up. And then next week, we'll see what happens. No big weather events, though, after tomorrow, which is good news. We'll have big high pressure ridge going into the weekend, which should keep most of the United States dry. Next week does seem to be a bit less active for this time of the year, which is good news, but might be something mid to late next week as well. But for right now, this is basically it. Today and tomorrow, and then by Friday, things will become a lot less active. All right, latest update on the tornado warning. Eta is no longer included in this tornado warning. Francis is where the strongest rotation is located, which again, rotation isn't tight and confined, so we don't have a tornado on the ground right now. But again, one could develop at any time, even in between radar scans, which this radar is updating every minute or two. But again, we do sometimes see tornadoes in between radar scans. So if you're anywhere near Francis, make sure you're in your safe place right now. If you're back near Allen as well, you should get to your safe place as soon as possible. This storm will be there within the next 5 minutes. Again, that is where your rotation is currently located. This is the reflectivity, so we do again have a little bit of hail just to the north of Francis, maybe even a little bit of quarter-sized hail in Francis right now. That's not out of the question. Correlation coefficient is not picking up on any debris right now, but we again could see a tornado at any time as the storm continues to track a little bit further off to the north and east. All right. CC, do you follow me on Facebook? I'm just curious. Do you follow North Texas Weather Center on Facebook? Have you ever seen the I don't know if I have them pulled up on here. I'll have to see. Yeah, I'll move this over to the other screen. You ever seen these? They're kind of funny. I'll have to pull it up, but I'll pull it up here in a second. Again, this storm right now we're monitoring is right now in central southern Oklahoma near Francis. This is an ongoing tornado warning. I will zoom out here in just a second. Have you ever seen these? Trash can outlook. I love posting these. I won't keep it on the screen very long, but yeah, I post those all the time. They're pretty funny. They're actually pretty accurate too. I mean, we the other day had about 40 to 50 mile per hour gusty winds, and I had to put up the take a walk to find out trash can meter. So pretty fun graphic that I make on Facebook. We do have a brand new severe thunderstorm, actually. We'll go back to the storm here in Oklahoma in a moment. We actually have 2 new severe thunderstorm warnings over in Tennessee and Mississippi. We have a pretty nasty cell developing right now near Holly Springs. This one right now has not really a whole lot of rotation yet, but this does seem like it might develop into something here pretty soon. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour will be possible, along with quarter-sized hail. That is moving towards Interstate 22. Memphis, Tennessee is currently included in a severe thunderstorm as well, producing 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and along with quarter-sized hail. This storm is moving at 60 miles per hour. It is a quick-moving storm. So again, make sure you stay away from windows as that storm does approach. We will keep a very close eye on those. We're going to be keeping a close eye on both of these areas here over the next little while. But again, those are our 2 new severe thunderstorm warnings. We now are up to 5 total warnings here across the United States. 2 of them back over in the Mississippi Valley, and then we obviously have the 3 in Oklahoma right now, including a tornado warning. We'll prioritize the tornado warning. We'll go back over to the east if anything does develop over that direction. Weird breath. What is the hardest subject and easiest subject in school? It depends. I mean, it varies for everybody, but I don't even know. Easiest for me, I don't even know what the easiest for me was. I'm trying to think back. I mean, I'm in college right now, so I couldn't even. I mean, in college, I had a survey to meteorology class. That was the easiest one for me. And then the hardest is actually probably thermodynamic meteorology, I think, right now is probably the hardest. And those are both weather classes, but I mean, those are honestly probably the easiest and hardest ones. It was windy yesterday. Yeah, I mean, wind is a little bit, it's not hard to predict. Temperatures are also not too difficult to predict long term. All right, let's see if we have any other updates here. For right now, we don't have any other updates. Again, this is the current tornado warning that we have ongoing near Allen in Oklahoma. We're also watching the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings behind it. We are also monitoring the strong cap back in North Texas that is preventing most of the supercells from developing tonight. But for right now, no significant storms have developed in North Texas so far, which is good news. We had a couple of, we actually did have one severe storm around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon, but that obviously has, at this point, moved into Oklahoma. That was from earlier. We did have our first severe thunderstorm warning of the day was actually in Clay County, Texas, which is kind of right along the Red River. But obviously right now we don't have anything too crazy going on. All right, let's go back over to here. Just had to type that real quick. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. This will be a pretty interactive live stream for the most part. By the way, this rotation, look at this thing. This is intensifying pretty quickly here. Strong rotation right now east of Francis. This is strengthened a bit in the last scan or 2. Also, quarter-sized hail was just reported back near Bing. And this is from the fire department in the area right along 377. So again, rotation is beginning to strengthen a little bit here. Nothing on the correlation coefficient for the time being, but there is some strong rotation developing pretty quickly. Moving off again to the northeast near Allen, Oklahoma. So if you're in Allen, get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and in the lowest floor possible, interior room of your building or home. Again, a bathroom's a pretty good idea as long as there's no windows. Put a mattress over yourself as well. That is always a good idea if you have one. And if you can get that in time, obviously, Allen, if you're in Allen, you only have about a minute until the storm is there. So make sure you get to your safe place immediately. Strengthening rotation, though, north of 1. And it is, again, the potential for a tornado does exist at any time here. This is definitely stronger rotation than before. East of Francis, going towards Allen in Oklahoma. So if you're in this area, again, make sure you get to your safe place away from windows into the lowest floor possible. This again does include Allen, Francis, and those are the 2 main locations right now. So right along 1 and 48 is where this will also be heading. Ping pong ball sized hail also possible. Big threats though here. Strengthening rotation moving off to the east northeast. Who came up with that trash can meter? It's mine. I made it. I mean, this isn't my original idea, but yeah, this is my own graphic. I actually had to use this. Can't remember if it was yesterday or it was the day before, but it was really, it was the day before. It was really windy yesterday in North Texas, I'm pretty sure. It was like 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. It was pretty wild. That's exciting, Jilly. Tests are always exciting. By the way, this tornado warning has been condensed. Francis is really not included anymore. It is primarily including Allen. So that is, again, our strong rotation that is moving off to the north and east. The main couplet here of rotation is west of Allen. It is moving to the east-northeast, and it will be approaching areas near 48 here pretty soon. Areas out in front of this will include Calvin, Oklahoma, anywhere near 48, and as well as 75. So just west of Calvin will be in the track of this here pretty soon. And we do have some fairly strong rotation here that has been really intensifying over the last several minutes, moving off to the north and northeast, or excuse me, east and northeast. So that is the current direction right now. Again, this will be probably just narrowly avoiding Allen, but we'll see what happens. Again, this very well could take a turn to the right. We've seen that before. It could also take a turn to the left. So that is why this polygon is so big here over in areas like Allen. And yeah, again, this will be moving off to the northeast in the next several minutes. You're not excited. I wouldn't be either. All right. Let's see. Latest radar scan actually does have it fizzling out just a smidge here. There are definitely high winds with this. That's without a doubt. You can see these brighter colors here, the brighter greens. That is representing some higher wind speeds west of Allen, just off to the north of 1. If you notice these red colors here, not really strong rotation by any means, but or even strong velocities or high velocities. But that's again where our rotation kind of lies in between those two. This would be where the rotation is, but we're not really seeing a whole. I mean, it's kind of been here and there with this storm. It has been strong at times. It's also been much weaker at times. So for right now, though, it's kind of in the moderate stage. Again, it was strong there for just a moment. Also, an update on the other storm that was tornado warned at one point that's going towards Stonewall right now. Rotation is still very broad here, and it's also pretty weak. And this storm is actually becoming a lot less severe than before. We're not really seeing any severe characteristics with this storm for the most part. Maybe some quarter-sized hail, but that wind threat has died down very quickly. We do have a tornado warning that was just issued over in northern Mississippi. This is a storm that I mentioned before that looked very nasty to begin with. Rotation is rapidly intensifying over northern Mississippi. So if you're in this warning, seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible, interior room of your home as well. Again, strengthening rotation back over here closer to northern Mississippi right now. This is going to be approaching areas near Potts Camp and Holly Springs. This storm right now moving about 40 miles per hour off to the north and east. So again, strengthening rotation in northern Mississippi. And we actually do have some green showing up here. I wouldn't rule out that there might, let's go back over to the velocity or the reflectivity. I wouldn't rule out that there's already a tornado on the ground with this. There's a little bit of green showing up there. This is where that rotation is currently located. We'll watch the next scan to see if there is something here. The radar scans here are coming in every about 3 to 4 minutes, but there is definitely some rotation with this storm. Again, moving off to the north and east right now. We might be able to see this from the closer up radar site too. Let's see. I'm not sure if they have the correlation coefficient on this one. Doesn't look like it, but this is the velocities here from a closer up radar site. So again, the rotation and where it's located would be right about there near 310. That is moving off to the north and east. So again, if you're in this area in northern Mississippi near Holly Springs, get to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible. It doesn't seem to be nearly as prominent as before, but again, tornado could develop at any time here as this storm does continue to track up to the north and east. Rotation is kind of in the moderate stage, so I wouldn't think there's a tornado right now, but we could see one at any time. So we'll be watching that storm pretty closely. Memphis, by the way, Tennessee is also bracing for another storm there. We have another tornado warning that was just issued on this cell that we've been watching for a while back over in Oklahoma. So those in Calvin and Stewart, Oklahoma, are into a brand new tornado warning. This is going off to the east-northeast. This storm's been rotating for quite a while. Winds, by the way, are very high with this. We are talking upwards of 75 mile-per-hour winds near Allen, Oklahoma. Again, this will be tracking over to the east-northeast over the next several minutes. Make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible and in an interior room of your home or building. Is where you got to be right now for this this tornado warning. We also got a severe thunderstorm warning slightly further to the south, but this is definitely a more concerning storm right now. High winds as well. That is definitely going to be a concern. Winds upwards of 70 miles per hour are possible with this one as well. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. We'll be covering these tornado warnings here for a little while, so feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Again, this tornado warning does include Atwood, Allen, and Calvin in Oklahoma. Those are the 3 locations included in this brand new tornado warning moving off to the east northeast. Let's go back over to the velocities again. Latest radar scan just came out. This is the strong winds that we're seeing. I mean, there might not be a tornado with this, but we are definitely seeing some high damaging winds. This is upwards of 80 miles per hour near Allen that we're talking about. The rotation, it seems to be pretty broad right now. This is kind of the dividing here. The rotation would have to be much more tight and confined. I'm not seeing anything tight here, but I am definitely noticing some very high winds. That bright blue is representing 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts near Allen, which is a little bit off the ground. So there's a possibility that these velocities at the surface are a little bit lower, but I would definitely make sure that you're staying away from windows regardless, because this is definitely some very high winds right now moving off to the east northeast. By the way, for those in Calvin, you got about 10 minutes until the storm arrives, maybe slightly less than that, but obviously do not wait 10 minutes to seek shelter. Make sure you seek shelter much earlier than that. Again, this is definitely a pretty potent storm that's moving off to the east northeast, and this is a look at the reflectivity on it right now. Allen, Calvin, and Atwood are the three main locations included in this ongoing tornado warning, so seek shelter. I was looking for Cook County. Cook County's not going to be too bad tonight. Most of anyone in North Texas should be okay. If you're right along the Red River, there might be an isolated severe storm, but I would probably say that's a pretty low chance at this point. The cap has been very strong in North Texas today, which is obviously a very good news. Honestly, I'm glad we have a cap in place. Otherwise, I'd have probably had to been live for a pretty long time today. So yeah, obviously the cap being strong this evening has really played a big part into us not seeing any significant severe weather in North Texas. The only severe thunderstorm warning we've had today was at about 4 o'clock near Clay County, but I wouldn't rule out one. Again, I wouldn't rule out a severe storm, but it should be a pretty low chance in North Texas tonight. She's doing better, Jelly. She's doing better. Off-topic questions are not a bad thing. All right. Let's go back and zoom out again here real quick. Again, this is the region where we do have a severe thunderstorm watch ongoing until 10 o'clock. That's another 55 minutes. We don't have any storms in North Texas at all right now. Right along the Red River is where the closest storm is, but other than that, this is an area that probably will not see any significant severe weather tonight. There might be an isolated severe storm, but the cap has been very strong in North Texas today, so that should help to limit any significant severe weather. We might see an isolated storm with damaging winds or even quarter-sized hail, but it should be a pretty low chance. That would probably begin to develop between now and about 11 o'clock, and severe weather should be out of the area probably closer to midnight or so in the North Texas region. 1 a.m. would probably be the latest near Paris, Texas. So for those that are viewing from North Texas, that is the latest on that forecast for now. Again, let's go back actually real quickly over to the Mississippi tornado warning. I do want to see if there's any updates on this one in terms of the velocities, if the rotation is strengthened at all here. And let's go back over to here and do this. And yeah, currently the rotation is still kind of on the broad side. It is moving off to the northeast towards Holly Springs. These storms will struggle to develop into tornadic supercells that produce, even long tractor or strong tornadoes, mainly due to the fact these storms are just in a very high moisture content environment where we're going to see a lot of showers and storms develop around them, which will kind of limit the overall severe weather threat in terms of tornadic activity, since there will be rain cool air kind of out in front of some of those storms. You might even notice here in Oklahoma, we do have that one tornado warning ongoing, technically two, but this area here, we're starting to get more disorganized activity here in Oklahoma. It was much more organized about an hour or two ago when the convective cells were developing initially back near Interstate 35 and just west of there, but that is starting to kind of, that entire, organized area is starting to become a lot less organized, with some storms well out in front of that initial area of storms back near the dry line, because the dry line's back over here, and that is where our moisture is much more, prominent closer to areas like Nocona and anywhere here along Interstate 35. West of here is where the moisture drops off substantially. That's why we have a dry line there. Dew points in the 30s here. Meanwhile, 50s and 60s back up here in Oklahoma. So that's the current setup we have, but these storms are well out in front of it. Very disorganized area of storms in comparison to what we saw here earlier throughout the state of Oklahoma and even in Texas as well. Latest radar scan near Allen, Oklahoma. we are still seeing some very high velocities here. I mean, we're still talking upwards of 70 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts just above the surface. So again, near the surface, the winds may be slightly lower, maybe closer to 60 to 70, but we are still talking about very high winds here near the rotation area, which is currently broad at this time. But this is definitely, without a doubt, a severe thunderstorm, regardless of there being a tornado or not. We are still talking about very high winds that will be approaching, by the way, near Calvin, Oklahoma here within the next 15 minutes or so. So if you're in Calvin, make sure you stay away from windows as this storm does approach. Hey Sam, how you doing? Welcome back. For Fort Worth, if there are any storms tonight, they would probably be between now and about 11 o'clock. I wouldn't expect a whole lot of activity after 11 o'clock in Fort Worth. That dry line should be moving through by then. So it's the current timing right now for those areas. Yeah, Fort Worth shouldn't see anything, but if you do, you might actually at least get some sort of like shower or maybe some gusty winds as that dry line kind of passes there, but that'd be about it. I don't expect any severe weather tonight in Fort Worth. Hey Jen, how you doing? Welcome back. Glad you clicked. Memphis right now currently watching for 60 mile per hour damaging winds, quarter size tail. We are keeping a close eye on both of the storms right now. The ones in Oklahoma and back over near Memphis right now. Memphis right now, though, make sure you stay away from windows. There are definitely some high winds with that storm. That storm actually back near Memphis, Tennessee is moving at about 60 miles per hour to the north. It is a very quick moving storm for sure. By the way, this is the velocities on the storm near Allen if you're just tuning in. So again, we do have some rotation here. It's been on the broader side now, but there are definitely some high winds moving off to the north and east towards Calvin, Oklahoma. And here's a little bit more of a zoomed out look at the shower and storm activity across Oklahoma. Nothing in North Texas right now. Again, the cap has been very generous to us tonight, just after Valentine's Day. It's a nice Valentine's gift here in North Texas. A little bit late, but yeah, I mean, good cap here in place, so that should keep most of the severe weather out of our area. Back a little bit further to the north, though, that's what we're really watching for tonight. That'll all be moving off to the east-northeast, but this severe thunderstorm watch does go until 10 o'clock. I would expect some sort of extension to this probably for eastern Oklahoma within the next hour or so. This severe thunderstorm watch again expires in about 15 minutes. We'll see what the Storm Prediction Center does, but I would assume there will be a new watch of some sorts here for those in eastern Oklahoma. We probably will not see a new one in North Texas. If anything, it would be right along the Red River for those counties, but that would be about it. Thanks, John and Brandon, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Doing pretty good. Good to hear. It's good to hear. I have not eaten dinner, by the way. I've actually, funny enough, I haven't eaten in about 8 hours into like an actual full meal. So hopefully this live stream isn't too long. I'll try to keep it as long as possible, but I was planning on kind of a shorter live stream anyways. That is why I was primarily covering Oklahoma. Fannin County would be included in that, Kimber, but it would probably be like, when I talk about Fannin County, and anywhere up here, I mean, it would basically, for the most part, I mean, you could probably see it right along 82 and northwards. That is where, if there were to be a new severe thunderstorm watch, I would probably say if there were to be one, and Texas was included to some extent, it would be in these counties here. But again, right now, the cap is still fairly strong south of the Red River. If anything, the severe weather threat is very low at this point for those anywhere in North Texas, even for those right along the Red River. But again, we still got a couple hours until that dry line approaches. And if we actually pull up on here, the dew point map, I can go and pull it up on here. Or actually, I could probably put this on instead. Let's just do that. Here are the dew points right now across the region. And you can actually, it's kind of crazy, but you see here, Wichita Falls is now down to 40. This is where your dry line pretty much is right now. And so we are seeing dew points drop off pretty substantially back just to the west of that black line. Dew points down into the 30s now. Back near DFW, they're in the low 60s actually. But again, that cap is in place, which is that temperature inversion a little bit higher up into the atmosphere. That should prevent severe weather. But if you're right along the Red River, there's definitely a chance there for maybe a little bit of severe weather there. Temperatures, by the way, are dropping pretty quickly too. Wichita Falls is down to 52 degrees, and we will see wind chills in the 20s and teens tomorrow morning for a large chunk of North Texas and Oklahoma. So it'll definitely be cold tomorrow morning, which I just posted a forecast on that on Facebook there a little while ago. Let's go back over to the velocities again and look at this storm, man. It has been rotating for quite a while. I'll say that. This has been rotating for a little over an hour now near Calvin, and now it's going towards Calvin, Oklahoma. But this storm's been rotating for quite a while. And I wouldn't be surprised if this has produced a tornado at some point or does in the next 15 to 20 minutes. It has been a pretty potent supercell here for a while. See what happens. stay on all night long. Man, this severe weather event all the way through tomorrow. It's pretty wild. This severe weather event is not ending, tonight by any means. It is going to be a pretty elongated event. It goes all the way through tomorrow night is when we'll have that severe weather. So it is going to be a long event for sure here across, not just Oklahoma. Oklahoma is tonight, but then into tomorrow, the threat is massive. It's a massive area that we're watching for tomorrow. All right, let's go back over to here real quick. All right. How's it going, Shelly? Welcome back. Sorry if I missed you. I don't even see the message. Thanks, Savannah. Appreciate it. How's it going, Mike from Ohio? Thanks, Kimber. I appreciate it. I mean, technically, I am in North Texas, so oh, how are you not mod? Oh, you want a new account? Hopefully that's the right. Hopefully Shelly isn't an imposter here. I gave her moderator, but I don't remember. I'm assuming that's you, but guessing you're on a new account. Hey Shelly, can you just confirm with me that that's actually you on Discord? I just want to make sure. I didn't promote a random person. Hey Eric, how you doing? I've seen literally people copy my account, like not even kidding. I've seen literally people come into my chat before and literally copy my account as if it's me. I've seen it before. Bob, I probably will not be live tomorrow. If I am live at all tomorrow, it would have to be in the evening. Because I have Thursdays are my busy day where I during the entire morning and afternoon I have classes. So hopefully I can try to be live, but I wouldn't be live until the evening. If there's any severe weather left after 5 o'clock, I'll try to go live, but we'll see. She's doing better, Fryer. Thanks for asking. Doing better. I wish I could be live tomorrow, but I don't think I will be. If there's any severe weather, though, after 5 o'clock, I'll go live for a little bit, but I doubt there will be a whole lot after 5. The main event will probably be during the late morning and afternoon. There will be actually a pretty significant tornado threat in the Alabama and Mississippi area tomorrow. We'll probably see a few tornadoes there for sure. And tonight's event, to be honest, I was kind of I was kind of like, I don't know. I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in a huge tornado threat tonight. There is obviously a hatched area back over here closer to Mississippi and Arkansas for tonight, which we'll see some activity spur up over the next few hours. But I'm not too confident in significant tornado threat tonight. Maybe a tornado or two, but I wouldn't expect more than maybe 2 or 3 tornadoes tonight. It should be a bit lower than what I think the Storm Prediction Center is saying, but we'll see. My current forecast for that area was a little bit lower because of the environment that's going on out there to the east. I mean, the low-level jet's pretty strong. We have pretty strong low-level wind shear. It's just the fact of the matter is there's going to be so many showers and storms sharing energy amongst themselves, and it's going to be kind of tough for those storms to really develop into tornadic supercells back over there to the east. So by the way, for those that are just tuning in, we are currently in Oklahoma near Calvin and northeast of Allen in Oklahoma. That is where we're currently at right now for this tornado warning that is moving off to the east-northeast near Stewart. Thank you, Shelly. I just want to make sure. You never know. I've seen imposters of myself in my own chat before. So, by the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you're new here. Would appreciate it. Justin, I do believe so. I do believe the cap will stay strong enough. Even if it doesn't, I still probably wouldn't expect much of anything. I mean, maybe an isolated storm, but it probably wouldn't even be severe by that point. Yeah, for anybody that's tuning in from North Texas, again, the threat overall is low for any severe weather tonight. It's getting to the point where it's very low. The cap has still not been overcome by any means in DFW. And if we go to we can go over to the infrared imagery, which it won't show you the clouds at the lower level. We don't have any satellite imagery tonight because obviously it is nighttime. But this is kind of how the storms have evolved. It's pretty cool to look at this. But these are the storms over the last 2 hours. Let me go to 6 hours and let me restart this. if I can go 6 hours. There we go. So yeah, you can see how the storms evolved here. Look at the reds. The reds are representing up here your higher cloud tops. That's supercell type cloud tops there over Oklahoma. This is actually back when we had severe thunderstorm warning near Clay County. They're mostly just green colors, maybe yellow colors, which doesn't represent really cold cloud tops, which basically means the clouds are much lower to the ground. And so, I mean, we're not seeing really anything in North Texas. The cap has even been strong all day today, back even near Wichita Falls. The cap was pretty strong there too. It was a little bit weaker than DFW, but yeah, I mean, the storm activity has been pretty much only in Oklahoma today. It has been very well further north than DFW, which again, this was kind of it was a possibility to begin with because the cap was expected to be somewhat strong for a while. It was a question of whether it would erode. Most times it doesn't, but there's always that chance it does. So that's kind of what was played into the forecast today. But so far, good news. We have not really seen anything in terms of severe weather in North Texas today, which is good news. But yeah, that's again the 6-hour loop on the infrared imagery. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, closest shower or storm is right along the Red River, which most of the storm activity will be north of the Red River. We might get one little shower or storm that develops just south of there, but it'd be very, very isolated. And even if it does happen, the only threat I would expect that far to the south at this point would just be damaging winds and maybe isolated large hail. So that'd be about it. Hey, Grim, how you doing? Tulsa should be fine. Yeah, just be, you know, I mean, up there, it's mostly just rain, a few rumbles of thunder. I don't think there's any, there won't be any severe weather this far to the north. But yeah, heavy rain, that was what I was going to say. The dew points are not high enough, really. The moisture content, we don't have a whole lot of buoyancy up there. So it's going to be a bit of an issue for any of those storms to really get going for severe weather that far up to the north. I really should have eaten before I went live. I'm getting really hungry. Really hungry, really fast. No problem, Justin. This storm right now is moving east-northeast, Kira. Actually, I can put a track on this if you'd like me to. Let me do that real quick. We'll put a little timing guide on this cluster of storms here. And we do actually have a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. We will get to that here in just a moment. This is the timing right now. So McAllister about 45 minutes from now, and you got all the timing on the left side of your screen. That is how many minutes until the line of storms is estimated to arrive. So again, this is an estimate. This is not, you know, for certain. It could change a little bit. You never know. A storm could even form out in front of these, and that could also happen as well. Colgate in about 21 minutes, as well as Longtown 66 minutes, and Will Burton right around 88 minutes from now. I asked this before, but you guys like the times on the left side of the screen like this instead of the actual time? Because it used to be like 9:25. Now it's like 20 minutes or whatever from now. Do you guys like that more? So I'll probably end up doing this more now because I do actually like this a bit more. It just looks better. Looked a little bit weird before. Yeah, we've had a few tornado warnings this evening. I think this is our 4th or 5th now in Oklahoma tonight. I think it's our, or it might even be our 3rd. 3rd or 4th. I think that's how many tornado warnings we've had. I don't know if we've had any confirmed tornadoes. We've had a couple of wall cloud reports, but that's about it. We've not really seen anything beyond that. New severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, does include areas. I'll put that here. New severe thunderstorm warning does include areas near Stonewall, Stewart, Wardville, and Jesse. That is for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and quarter-sized hail. Hey, Patricia, how you doing? Good point, Jelly. Yeah, I'll probably do times from now on. I have no clue, Brady. I have no clue. It just came like this. Weston, probably not. Actually, I'm pretty sure that started, right? Let's do this real quick. There we go. Yeah, there's actually snow right now falling back up in Kansas. And no, I won't be live for the winter storm. I mean, that's gonna be more of an overnight threat into tomorrow morning. And again, I will not be live for the most part tomorrow. I have a stacked day of classes, and after 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I might go live, but that's dependent on if there's any severe weather going on. But I probably will. I won't be live for the winter storm. Honestly, winter storms, they get very repetitive to cover. I've covered them before. I've covered them a few times this winter. They are very repetitive, and I would honestly rather leave that stuff to a forecast, unless I had like storm chasers, which those are extremely expensive. So, yeah, winter storm live streams are a bit difficult to do. I try, but I was actually thinking about going live for the ice storm that happened in North Texas, you know, last or a couple weeks ago now. But even that was, you know, it gets really repetitive. That's the problem. Those are more like forecast sort of things. You can do them live. You just need, you know, storm chasers and stuff like that. And again, those are highly expensive. I cannot afford that. Hey, David, how you doing? How are you doing? Welcome back. Everything's going well. Jelly, I have no clue where you are. I remember names, but I don't remember where people are. So you'll have to remind me again. We have a brand new tornado watch that was just issued for an absolutely massive area from northern Louisiana all the way back through western Tennessee. This goes until 5 a.m. tonight. So it is a long-gated threat here, but eastern Arkansas also included, northern and western Mississippi. This is for the threat of tornadoes. Obviously tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, and large hail, damaging winds, tornadoes, damaging winds will be the main threat. Large hail is also a threat. It's a little bit lower than the damaging wind threat, and then maybe a couple of tornadoes, maybe a few overnight tonight would be the main concerns. We'll have storms really fire up over the next hour or two. By the way, this is a storm that was or is tornado warned. Rotation is still broad here. That is southwest of Holly Springs. This is Memphis, Tennessee right now. And for those near Memphis, that storm is just past your north. Damaging winds up to 60 and $50 sized hail possible there. That is riding right along the Mississippi River. We also do have a brand new tornado warning that has just been issued in Oklahoma. Let's go to this one. Look at this storm here. This is rotating supercell near 48. Looks to be a bit of a rural area here, but this is a brand new tornado warning for those in Stuart. So that's the main location included in this brand new tornado warning. Make sure that you seek shelter immediately away from windows and lowest floor possible. Lula is also included. Those are the two locations. It's just Stuart and Lula, Oklahoma. And Lula is right now over top of this. So if you're in Lula, make sure you get to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible. It does include Cole and Hughes County in Oklahoma. So that's the latest update on this brand new tornado warning. So again, we have 2 tornado warnings in Oklahoma. Also have some stronger rotations still ongoing near Calvin. And then again, we have that brand new tornado watch. This is a massive, massive area. I mean, this is all with the same low pressure system, but 2 different areas of severe weather tonight. One along the dry line and one well out in front of that cold front. So pretty crazy stuff here. Let's go back over to the correlation coefficient real quick. I'm pretty sure we don't have any tornado on the ground right now with this storm, but look at that hail core. We're probably talking upwards of $50 sized hail along with the tornado threat here near Lula going towards Stuart in Oklahoma. So definitely a dangerous storm as it continues to move off to the north and east. Holly Springs got an EF4 in 2015. Really? I did not know that. Get the information. I haven't really done a whole lot of research on that one because I've actually never heard of it. Appreciate you letting me know. So yeah, Holly Springs apparently has been hit by a very strong tornado at one point back about 8 years ago now. Wow, that's a long time ago. Feels like a long time ago at least. So yeah, that was the area back over in northern Mississippi. Let's go back over to the velocities. We're going to stay on the velocities until the next scan, which should be coming in here in just a moment. We're going to go to the storm relative velocity. So again, 2 tornado warnings ongoing in Oklahoma. The one near Calvin has had very high winds. Whether there's a tornado there or not is kind of still questionable. We have not had any confirmed tornadoes with that storm yet. We may have had a wall cloud at one point, but that is still unconfirmed. Other than that, there's still some rotation back down here with this brand new tornado warning near Lula. That is going to be moving towards Ashland and Stuart, Oklahoma. So a couple of different tornado warnings here, and they're still about good 20 to 30 miles apart. So that is what we got going right now. And this is a cell, by the way, that's been discrete for quite some time, which was more concerning because this storm just being discrete on its own makes the severe weather threat much higher, since there is a very clean inflow going into the storm and not a whole lot of rain out in front of it either, which should keep this, you know, pretty healthy supercell here for a little while until that starts to move into maybe a bit more of a area where there's more rain starting to develop, maybe a bit more moisture. This tornado warning, by the way, has been condensed. Calvin is the only location now included. Stuart is no longer included in this specific tornado warning. Rotation on the base velocities, still kind of in a broad sense of things right now, so no tightening. It's been like that here for a pretty long time. That'll continue to move off to the east. Crowder will be in the track of this here pretty soon, and McAllister. But for right now, that storm is weakening out here for right now. But there's definitely still some high winds. I'd say that for a fact. And then back down here again near Lula and Stewart. That is our brand new tornado warning. This is probably the more concerning of the two. Also, the hailstone size dropped to quarter size on the one back up to the north. So that's the latest update there. Sulphur Springs, Texas, okay. You might see an isolated storm in about 11, 12 o'clock tonight, but it is a pretty low chance at this point. The cap has been very strong, giving us, again, a nice late Valentine's gift. So you should be fine. There's definitely a bit of more of a lower threat down there now because of that strong cap being in place, which is, again, pretty good news there. Only bad news is we won't get any rain, but, I mean, you know, it's an even trade-off. Severe weather, needing rain. We've had all that ice, by the way, that we had a couple weeks ago is really kind of made up for it anyways. We had a bit of a drought going for North Texas for a large chunk of it for a while. By the way, from the National Weather Service of Norman, as of 4 minutes ago, the rotation has strengthened with the storm near Lula. So this one, again, the latest radar scan not showing still that much strong of rotation. We're not seeing a whole lot of reds and greens coming together, which would indicate strong rotation. We have them a bit tighter and more confined. I'm not seeing a whole lot of that right now, but again, we had that a couple scans ago, it looked like, which is when they about posted that. But for right now, again, rotation's kind of still a bit broad here. It will be going towards Ashland and Stewart. It is a discrete supercell, which would mean that this storm has a better likelihood or a higher likelihood of strengthening as it continues to move off to the north and east towards Ashland and as well as Stewart. In comparison to the storm back up here to the north near Calvin and Lamar, which is a bit more of just now a big cluster of rain. With obviously some high winds and maybe a little bit of quarter-sized hail. But this one's definitely a bit more concerning since it's more discreet here on the southern end of this line of storms with, again, a pretty high low-level jet tonight as well, which will help some rotation as well as that continues to track out to the east-northeast. What a crazy winter. I'm getting 6 to 10 inches of snow, really, tomorrow. I'm guessing you're back up maybe in the Midwest or Midwest or Iowa, because those are the two areas that we've seen really have a pretty big winter storm here coming up going into tonight and tomorrow. It has begun already in Kansas and as well as into Nebraska, and that will continue to track towards the Iowa area as well as the Midwest. Will be interesting. A lot of snow is going that direction. All right. When is my spring forecast coming out? I'm not doing a spring forecast. People always ask me, am I going to do these long-term forecasts? I did a winter forecast for this winter. I did a winter forecast, but I just don't see any benefit in it. I mean, it's like I'm posting a forecast that anybody else could make the same guess as I do. It's not like there's no skill into forecasting 3 months out other than just kind of comparing the La Nina and El Nino. I don't get why people do it on YouTube to begin with. I mean, maybe for views, I have no clue, but I just don't see any benefit in posting a winter forecast when it's probably not going to be very accurate. But actually, I won't lie. My winter forecast, believe it or not, was actually, in the broad sense of things, wasn't actually overly inaccurate. It's actually been kind of accurate to a point. There's been no winter here. It's 65 in February. Yeah, I mean, some areas have had no winter at all. The East Coast and New England have had a very tough winter. They've had really nothing. It's been just warm, or mild at least. Not really warm, but by the way, this tornado warning here going towards Ashland has actually been upgraded to golf ball sized hail. So a little update there. We actually have a pretty decent hail core here, a couple of different areas, and the inflow's right here. We have rotation again, kind of centered right about there. But a couple of different pockets of hail. We have one west of 75, or both of them are west of 75. But again, that's your inflow going into the storm, and this is the latest radar scan. Let's go and shift a little bit here to the east. Again, that is your inflow going to the storm. We have a little bit of rotation there. Here's your massive hail core just to the south of Gertie, and that'll be moving towards 75 over the next several minutes. Stewart and Ashland, just a heads up, get your car into your garage if you've not already, because there will definitely be some hail with this storm as it continues to track out to the east-northeast. By the way, snowfall accumulations are possible in northwest Oklahoma tonight. 1 to 2 inches is possible. Just a heads up there. Oklahoma's going to have all 4 seasons today. severe weather. I mean, basically, it's like summer right now down over this direction. A bit further up there in the northwest, there'll be some snowfall. So nice little change there across Oklahoma. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? My winter has been cold, mild, warm, freezing, mild, warm. Sounds like Texas. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like Texas. Because Texas has basically been exactly like that. It has been, without a doubt, just warm, cold, or something else. It has not been really consistent at all. Hey, Tracy, how's it going? All right, let's go back over to the velocities. And I'm pretty sure the rotation hasn't really, the rotation's been, kind of broad on this storm since the beginning. We do actually have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for some significant hail. And this is actually overlapping in the tornado warning, which might mean that we have this tornado warning actually might get lifted because the rotation has weakened quite a bit here. But hen egg sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds will be possible with this storm that will continue to move off to the east-northeast towards Ashland and Stewart. So hen egg sized hail is possible here, which is pretty wild. So man, look at this hail core. It is absolutely wild. It keeps growing here south of Gertie. We have a pretty large hail core here near Highway 75. So if you're in this area, again, get your car to your garage immediately, because this will definitely be a very potent supercell, especially with how large this hail is right now. We'll go over to the hail radar in a second, but large hail core right now ongoing, along with the tornado threat. That's a bad mix of everything here near Highway 75. It'll be going towards Ashland and Stewart, Oklahoma over the next several minutes, but pretty significant supercell here for sure. It is a considerable threat, by the way, by the National Weather Service. For those in North Texas, again, if you're right along the Red River, you might get a storm tonight. The cap has been fairly strong in most of North Texas, so any severe weather is unlikely. I wouldn't rule out an isolated storm that produces severe weather, but it is a very low chance. The only thing that you need to have really for tonight, if you're in North Texas, is just make sure you have a way to receive alerts. That is kind of the one thing that you should have tonight. If you are in North Texas, just have a way to receive alerts, because there will definitely still be a chance for severe weather. It's low. I mean, this is the current live radar. There is nothing down here in North Texas. This is the closest activity, which is still fairly far north of the Red River right now, but I wouldn't rule out something if the cap does weaken, but we're still a few hours away from that dry line moving through DFW, so wouldn't rule out an isolated storm, but it's a low chance. This tornado warning, by the way, for Cole and Hughes County, Oklahoma, is upgraded now to hen egg sized hail. So this storm continues to intensify with hail being a big concern. The rotation on the storm has weakened a bit. If we go back over to the velocities, again, I'm not seeing a whole lot of rotation there for the time being near 75. And the hail radar right now, this is a little old, so about 10 minutes ago or so, is right around quarter-sized hail. That's your red shading. We have a little key up here at the top of your screen. So yeah, the little bit of quarter-sized hail about 10 minutes ago, but as I mentioned before, this storm has really quickly intensified with the hail core over the last 5 minutes. It has gone from probably quarter-sized, now upwards of hen egg-sized, and I wouldn't even rule out the possibility for a couple of those hailstones to be maybe closer to tennis ball-sized. This is a pretty impressive supercell here south of Gertie. No problem, Joe. Thank you, Yupin, for mentioning that. If you want to donate, the link should work, but I guess this one doesn't. That is actually weird. It's not the right one. I guess it's not. The one in the description, right? They're just not working. Oh, that's the right one. I guess it just doesn't want to work tonight. I think they might have maintenance going on or something. Well, if you want to donate or support the page, you can always become a member, click the join button, or you can just send a super chat. The donation work does not seem to be working, so I'll just remove that for now. I did not realize that. Appreciate you saying that. All right. Have a great night, Brady. Appreciate you tuning in. A safe rest of your night. Tornado warning in Mississippi. Any update on that? Yeah, we can go over to that. I haven't really covered that a whole lot. This live stream is primarily going to be for Oklahoma, but we'll take a close look at this. This is near Holly Springs right now, and the rotation has been pretty broad since the beginning. and it is still very broad. I'm not seeing anything tight and confined here near Interstate 22. It'll be continuing to move closer to Holly Springs, but it has been broad for this entire span. It could strengthen, but it's not really in the most favorable environment right now. In a couple hours, if this storm is ongoing, 2 hours, like, around 12 o'clock or so, it'd be in a bit more of a prime environment. But for right now, it's not in the most primed environment for rotation, so it's kind of on the weaker end for right now. Memphis, Tennessee is currently seeing a couple of storms nearby as well. Those are not severe. One north, though, is severe. Back over to Oklahoma. We're still talking about this large hail core, by the way. Hen egg-sized hail. Closer to areas near Gertie right now, just south of Gertie. Moving off to the east-northeast. Thanks, Ben, for subscribing, by the way. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Upin, for the $25 super chat. Let's get some claps in the chat for Upin with the $25 donation. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support a lot. Thank you. It was a long way. Kind of scared for the summer. Don't worry. Honestly, the good thing is, once I'm off college in May, I will be going live a ton over the summer. So just like I did this past year, I went live like for every severe weather event. I'll be trying to do that again. I will be taking a couple of nice vacations by myself. I don't know where, but I will be going somewhere. So I'll be taking a couple of vacations over the summer. But other than that, I'll be going live for almost every severe weather event over the summer. And I won't be able to go live for every event this spring. At least like March and April. I'll be trying to go live mainly for the Texas events. Because that's, again, North Texas is my main coverage area on Facebook, so it just makes it easier. Kind of, I cover both, but if I'm able to, I'll do some more nationwide events if there are any during the month of May and April, or not May and April, March and April. It's gonna be snowing in July. It might be snowing somewhere, but probably not in the United States. Thanks a lot, Upin, by the way. Appreciate it. Appreciate that a lot. All right, let's real quickly go back over to Twitter. I'm not sure if we have any other updates here for now. Again, this is the more significant hailstorm just west of Ashland, producing up to hen egg-sized hail. It is still tornado warned as well. If we go back over the velocities, it has not been rotating very strongly here. Yeah, still broad rotation along Highway 75, and it is still producing, though, very large hail. We're probably still talking upwards of hen egg-sized hail. Let's go over to the hail radar again here. We'll see what's happening there. Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit more updated. Still, the radar actually is estimating a right around quarter-sized hail here near Ashland. That is what that's estimating, is right around quarter-sized hail west of 75, but it does not seem to be intensifying too far beyond hen egg-sized hail. That's the current wording, at least from the National Weather Service. Let's go back over to here and put back on the reflectivity. And when you see these black colors on this radar, by the way, that is typically indicative of at least some sort of golf ball size hail or greater. That's typically what that range is here. So we are probably at least somewhere in that range near Highway 75, right in the dead center here. It's kind of over the text, but right there, there's a little bit of white showing up. That is probably, if there's any hen egg sized hail in this storm, that would be where it is. It's gonna be right there along 75. So if you're traveling along this road, heads up, this is a pretty severe storm here. Tornado warned cell and producing some fairly large hail. It's a bit of a mix here of bad stuff. Right. Oh, you're in Connecticut. Oh, nice. Connecticut. I used to live in New England. I never really went to Connecticut. I don't know why. I just never did. A little update, by the way. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning for those in, or just east of Memphis. So just east of Memphis, kind of in the suburbs there is a new severe thunderstorm warning. It is for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds, quarter-sized hail. Just a little update there. Tornado chance in Cincinnati. It's low tomorrow. It's kind of on the lower end of things. It's like I'm pretty sure it's I think it's 5% from the Storm Prediction Center, but I'd probably put it like within a 25-mile radius. I'm pretty sure you won't have too much of a tornado threat tomorrow up that direction. Yeah, it's a 5% from the Storm Prediction Center. But again, tornado threat should be kind of on the lower end of things, up and down that huge area. Let's actually zoom out real quick. So for those that have not already seen, tomorrow will be absolutely insane with how large of an area it is. This is tomorrow's severe weather outlook. If you have not looked at the Storm Prediction Center recently or anything like that, this is how large it is. It is a huge area. Enhanced risk is large. It is very long as well. And the marginal threat goes all the way into New York, all the way from Louisiana. I don't remember the last time we had this large of a severe weather outlook, like this large. I don't remember the last time. And we're in February, which is even more wild for that. But yeah, the tornado threat, by the way, is going to be mainly down here. So this is the tornado threat. It's mainly going to be in Alabama and Mississippi. And yeah, much higher wind shear, as well as a very much I can't speak English. A much stronger low level jet will also be ongoing down that direction in Mississippi and Alabama. So yeah, that will definitely be a primed area for tornadoes tomorrow. Late morning into the afternoon is the main time frame for those back over there in the Dixie Valley for a tornado threat. Thanks, Mizuno. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, I've seen a lot of That's What She Said jokes today on that topic. So yes, thank you. I saw a lot of those on Twitter. Hen egg sized hail would in fact do some damage. Yeah, hen egg sized hail is pretty large. Let me pull up a chart here. I mean, you all probably know what a hen egg looks like, but actually, I'm trying to find a graphic that would actually show you what everything looks like here. This is probably like the best one to look at. Let me pull it up. Latest radar scan, by the way, as of 9:44. Tornado warning is still ongoing here west of Ashland, Oklahoma. Large hail core producing hen egg sized hail currently. So again, make sure that you are staying away from windows. And we actually, real quick, we do have a brand new tornado warning that has actually just been issued out in front of this storm. I'm actually a bit surprised by this. The rotation didn't look too strong a second ago, but it might be intensifying again. This is for those near McAllister, Oklahoma, Ashland, Savannah, and Kiowa. Those are the areas now included in this brand new tornado warning. Ping pong ball sized hail is also on the new threat level of hail here. So again, make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible, and an interior room of your home away from windows. That is a brand new tornado warning for those. Again, locations are on the left side of your screen. McAllister is kind of on the edge of this. Yeah, the town itself is not included, but it probably will be in a future warning if there is to be one. Blanco is also included in this. But yeah, here's a hail chart for those that are wondering. So hen egg is right about here. It's basically the diameter of a hail, or diameter of a egg, and then tennis ball size is a little bit above that. Tennis ball sized hail does some nasty damage for sure. We do have a brand new severe thunderstorm watch. I did mention this a little while ago. There is now a new severe thunderstorm watch that has been issued for eastern Oklahoma and into western Arkansas. This goes until 3 a.m. Central Time for 70 mile per hour or maximum 70 mile per hour damaging winds, ping pong ball sized hail, and a couple of tornadoes will be possible with this cluster of storms that'll continue to move off to the east as well. Those in North Texas, this watch will expire in 15 minutes. So if you're in North Texas, severe weather, very limited threat for the rest of this evening. That threat should be pretty low at this point. I wouldn't expect too much there, but see what happens. Hey, Devin, how's it going? Yeah, I've seen cars take a bunch of damage even from smaller hailstones too. I mean, hen egg is typically the turning point from like somewhat damaging hail to like extremely damaging hail. That's kind of like the turning point is right about hen egg. Once we get to tennis ball though and all that, it gets nasty. Man, this chair is not very comfortable. I need to get a new office chair. I got one back last summer, and it has not really lived up to the hype. Eric, I wouldn't expect a whole lot in Dallas tonight. The cap has remained very strong. Cynthia, what do you mean by the polar vortex? What are you referring to? All right, I'm looking at chat from like 5 minutes ago, I think, so I don't remember what I said. Thank you, by the way, Daily, Marty, and Mizuno for subscribing. I appreciate it. Again, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you're new here, so you stay up to date on the latest weather information and weather live streams. Again, we do severe weather live streams like this all the time, so make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Would appreciate it. Turn on post notifications as well. Click that bell icon. Keep you posted with the latest. All right, so let's go here. Here we go. Northeast Texas, it's a low chance as well over that direction tonight. There will be a threat for some damaging winds probably overnight tonight. I wouldn't expect a tornado threat, to be honest with you. I think damaging winds is the main concern there. 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds possible. That would be pretty much my maximum threat in Northeast Texas, per se. Tornado threat would be very low. Is the polar vortex going crazy? I wouldn't say it's going really crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's not really going crazy. I'd say it went crazy a few weeks ago when it impacted Mount Washington. That was crazy. That was like last week. Yeah, it's not really going quote unquote crazy. Thank you, American Patriot, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Appreciate you becoming a member. Welcome. Thanks, Mizuno. I appreciate it. Have a great night, Jelly. Appreciate you tuning in. Shreveport does have a little bit more of a tornado risk tonight. It's a little bit higher than Northeast Texas, per se. Still kind of on the low end. There's a chance. Just make sure you have a way to receive alerts tonight. That'd be the best way to go about that. It's low. It's not zero. Last time I've seen hail was about 4 years ago in Texas. It was about quarter-sized hail. That was the last time. Got hit by an EF4 tornado in November? Really? Which one are you talking about? That's wild. There's been some wild tornadoes, like, you know, I mean, there's like wild tornadoes all the time, but there's been a couple of crazy ones in North Texas. Are you talking about one of them in North Texas or Oklahoma? We had a tornado emergency in Southeast Oklahoma a few months ago, which was wild. Man, there was some crazy stuff back in November and December. Oh, Paris, Texas, yeah. Fannin County area, I do remember there was a couple of pretty wild tornado warnings. That obviously equivalent there to tornadoes. There were some nasty supercells that day. Can't remember what day it was. We also had a crazy outbreak on December 11th, I believe, and that was also pretty wild. There's been some pretty crazy events though, recently for sure. That's definitely one of them. I remember, I think it was December. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was December 11th when we had some pretty significant severe weather. Let's go over to the Fort Smith radar. I do want to see if we have any, yeah, never mind. I thought this radar might be a little bit better. We're kind of in between a few radar sites here. We should be able to get a better view of the Fort Smith radar site in about 20-ish minutes, maybe 30 minutes. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning actually in eastern Oklahoma, slightly further north than the watch actually includes. So this is for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Pretty low-end threat here, but that's for Jay Oaks. And this will eventually go into northwest Arkansas. Very top left corner of Arkansas there is in that threat. By the way, this is the overview of what's happening here across the southern plains and as well as the lower Mississippi Valley. And again, a little bit of severe weather ongoing near Memphis, Tennessee. It's kind of on the lower end right now. And then we have our more significant severe weather currently ongoing in Oklahoma. None of this is extended into Texas this evening. A little bit of damaging winds and hail as well with this other severe storm here near Ardmore. But main concern is this tornado warning moving towards McAllister. And that will continue to track out to the east-northeast over the next little while. I relocated from Austin. I've actually never been to Austin. I lived in Texas for a few years, but never been to Austin. Random, no. This is probably right around hen egg sized hail still. The new tornado warning is ping pong ball sized hail. So at this point right now, obviously it's hen egg, but it might actually stay like that here for a little while. This storm has been pretty potent with its hail core for sure. Damaging winds also likely with this storm. I would say the tornado threat though is going down a little bit on this one. It is discrete, but does not have any defined inflow going into it. This is the estimate from the radar, the hail radar. So ping pong ball has been estimated throughout this storm. We've had no confirmed reports by far in terms of the actual hailstone size at the ground. It is a pretty rural area as well, so the reports are going to be limited to begin with. But yeah, for right now, it's kind of a bit of a question mark whether we do have any sort of, hen egg sized hail or not. Right now, the radar is one of our best bets with this, and it's currently estimating right around ping pong ball. Severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, has been upgraded to 70 miles per hour for the cell up here. Actually, this is up down to 70 mile per hour damaging winds. That is near Indianola, Canadian, and Crowder. Those are the areas out in front of this storm. That is now up to 70 miles per hour. Hasn't updated on here, but that is the update on that severe thunderstorm up there. A large hail core, again, still ongoing near Stewart and Ashland, moving off to the east-northeast. So that is definitely a pretty concerning storm still. If we have anything else here. That severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, back up near Oklahoma. That is including a population of 62,000. Yeah, the tornado threat tomorrow is going to be pretty significant. Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. It's going to be pretty wild there. I mean, the tornado threat is pretty high tomorrow. Unfortunately, I will not be able to go live during that event. Again, I will have classes pretty much all day tomorrow until about 5 o'clock. So if there's anything left at 5 o'clock, I'll go live. But there's going to be a pretty significant tornado threat in Alabama and Mississippi tomorrow. So if you're in those areas, have a plan in place. It's going to be a pretty wild day, it looks like, tomorrow with the current environmental setup. The atmosphere will be ripe for some pretty significant severe weather there. Can't see the hook. There isn't really any hook with this storm. This is pretty much the closest you'll get. There's a very weak inflow into this supercell right now. It is more, I would say, of a hail threat, even though there are tornado warnings attached to it. The rotation has remained broad for the most part. Near Stewart is where that hail core is, in between Stewart and Ashland. So there's at least some hail here, but I would say that tornado threat is kind of a bit lower than the hail threat. Obviously, hail threat is definitely right now ongoing. Rotation's been a bit weaker with this cell so far. Do you think it'll weaken tomorrow when it reaches Ohio? Ohio has a pretty low chance of severe weather. You're in like that marginal slight risk. You're on like the top end of that. There will still probably be at least some widely scattered severe weather, but it's probably on the lower end of things in terms of like the entire region. So it goes from obviously New York all the way back through the Dixie Valley. So the main threat will be the Dixie Valley area, but once we get closer to the Tennessee, Kentucky area, it'll be kind of that medium stage for severe weather. It's a bit on the lower side near Ohio. There'll probably at least be some isolated severe weather, maybe widely scattered, would be kind of my guess at this point for tomorrow. By the way, new report out of Hulbert. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but this is in Oklahoma. Just as of a couple minutes ago, a confirmed report of a 69 mile per hour wind gust blew off branches and shingles in, again, Hulbert. I think it's Hulbert, Oklahoma. So that is, I believe that's back up here, which this is the area that we now have a warning for 70 mile per hour damaging winds up this direction. So again, make sure that you're staying away from windows and in the lowest floor possible if you're in this area, because winds can definitely knock over trees up that direction. Yeah, pretty significant wind up that direction. Back down here, again, that's where our tornado warning is here in Oklahoma. Yeah, the outbreak, I mean, the severe weather outbreak will definitely be more noticeable tomorrow. Today, I mean, tonight, there's an outbreak. It's just not going to be nearly as huge or widespread. We are definitely going to see, or not, I wouldn't say definitely, but we're pretty much almost certainly going to see a pretty hefty severe weather outbreak tomorrow. And the main area, again, will be the Dixie Valley. How's it going, Dragon? Welcome back. Pew, just have a way to receive alerts. It's the best thing that you can do tonight. I mean, sleeping in the basement is totally your choice, but I would just make sure I have a way to receive alerts. And that's the best way you can go about it tonight. Allen, Texas probably will not see any severe weather tonight. The cap has remained very strong in DFW. And if we zoom out a little bit here, this is the current live radar, and there's not much of anything south of Ardmore. I mean, it's just, it's been dry. I mean, we haven't really seen anything. We actually do have a camera back in Lantana, Texas. I don't think we're going to see anything with it, but we might be able to. Yeah, this is the live cam out of Lantana. Or it's not live. I could make it live if you want. Look at this, by the way. Is that a plane? Imagine if it was a balloon that we saw live. I can put, actually, I'll put this on live camera. I gotta remember what the thing was called that put it on. It was video player or something. Give me 1 second. Let me what it was called. Video player. I thought it was video player, but I might be wrong. It's this. I highly doubt it's that. No, it's not that. There was some program that I have. I can't remember, but it has the live cam from Lantana, Texas. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, back over in Lantana. It's clear skies right now. Cap has remained very strong there. Anywhere in North Texas. North Texas isn't clear. You just have a very low chance of any severe weather tonight because the dry line hasn't even moved through yet. You still got at least a good hour or two until that dry line moves through, so a storm could develop. It's not out of the question, but the severe weather threats are very low there in North Texas tonight. Basement it is. All right. There you go. It's always a safer option. I mean, it is definitely a safer option. Here it is. All right, let's pull this up. I'll put that on my other monitor. All right, let's go back to here. We're just refreshing the program anyways while we're at it. Let's go back down to the tornado warning and let me pull up that live camera. We actually have a live cam out of Lantana, so let's do that real quick. I don't know if I did this right, but we're gonna find out. All right, we did it right. Yeah, so this is the live cam out of Lantana. And this is literally live. So nothing out there. I mean, literally, there's nothing going on out here. I did see a plane a second ago, but this is looking off to the north, and you can see there is nothing in terms of clouds. You can't even see any lightning off in the distance from the storms back up in Oklahoma. So kind of impressive there. It's actually pretty crazy. There's no clouds in North Texas right now. That cap has really played a massive part into the severe weather tonight in Texas, which is pretty phenomenal, honestly. It's pretty wild. Further reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to hit the like button down below. It is free to do. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon as well so you get notified whenever I go live in the future. We do severe weather live streams like this all the time across the United States. No balloon. No balloon. Looks like, not gonna lie, kind of, I mean, it had a light, but it was probably just a plane. Thanks, Eric, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Skull, it'll be cooler tomorrow. There won't be any severe weather tomorrow. Overnight tonight, there might be an isolated severe storm or two for Northeast Texas, but it's a low chance. This weekend will be fairly dry, too, so it'll be a pretty nice weekend. If you have any outdoor plans, make sure to get outdoors. It's going to be a beautiful weekend for a lot of the southern half of the United States. High pressure will be dominating. This tornado warning has been updated, by the way. Still ping pong ball sized hail. Tornado threat, personally for me, I think it's still kind of a low chance here, but there is still a tornado warning for another half an hour. And it does include Savannah and Ashland. McAllister, Oklahoma is not included in this tornado warning. It's on the cusp, but your downtown area there is not included right now. So Ashland, Oklahoma, by the way, just a report confirmed of about quarter-sized hail there. Full update there. A little bit of quarter-sized hail, which is kind of to be expected with this large of a hail core for sure. All right, let's go back over to here. By the way, if you have any questions on the severe weather threat for tomorrow, for example, central Indiana, watch my forecast from today. It has all the details in that forecast. Literally, you can, I think it's 4 minutes in, maybe 5 minutes in, you can skip to. That's when I talk all about that severe weather threat. That video is all about severe weather tomorrow. So make sure to check that out because that will give you all the answers. That's awesome, Daily. Can you show Sulphur? All right, talking about Sulphur, Oklahoma. Yeah, that's the storm back over this direction. Not a whole lot with this. It's just 60 mile per hour damaging winds and quarter-sized hail. That's about it. It's not really on the significant severe weather side right now in terms of, you know, golf ball plus size hail and stuff like that. But there is actually a tornado possible label on this. A couple of pockets of broad rotation. Nothing that impressive, but it's right along the dry line. So there is a little couple of pockets there of maybe a little bit of rotation, but it's pretty broad right now. Severe thunderstorm watch has now expired for North Texas, by the way. So on Facebook real quick. All right. Let's see. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for those in Crowder, Oklahoma, or Indianola specifically, just west of Crowder. That is for 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This is a considerable threat from the National Weather Service. So again, brand new severe thunderstorm warning there. That is for, again, 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. That's about it. That's it for that warning. And quarter-sized hail. Yeah, again, tornado warning still ongoing. Rotation has been weakening for the most part on this cell. Maybe a little bit of broad rotation still remaining west of Savannah. Just make sure you're still in shelter here for the next several minutes as this storm tracks out to the east. There is still a kind of a favorable environment here in Oklahoma, so we could see a tornado at any time as this continues to track out to the east and northeast, but that'll be what we're watching for here as it continues to track out to the east northeast. Thanks, G-Bro. Appreciate it. Problem, Daily. Kimber, putting out another what? You need a weather balloon? I don't think DFW's put out a weather balloon since 5, maybe 4 o'clock, sometime in that frame. It's been a bit. I mean, they usually don't. I mean, on days like this, they put a few weather balloons out every day, but I don't think they'll put another one out tonight. Here's a live view, by the way, out of Lantana, Texas. Again, nothing in the sky for those in North Texas right now. It does seem like it'll be a pretty dry night with maybe an isolated storm. But that'd be about it. We're not seeing anything out there right now. Just a few stars in the sky on the live cam. It's been pretty quiet in North Texas tonight, which is good news. Honestly, it makes the workload of being live here tonight a lot less. Especially when we already had so many areas to cover. I mean, we had Oklahoma. We have the Mississippi Valley, Texas. It would have been a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Adding Texas in would have been pretty crazy. Honestly, if there wasn't no cap, though, we could have probably seen some pretty significant severe weather down that direction, too. There's still a chance, by the way. There's still a chance maybe for an isolated severe storm, but it's... I keep saying there's a chance, but it is a very low chance tonight. Thank you, Shelly. Yeah, I gotcha. Oh, you're on your normal account now. You have the... You're on the right account. You were on a different account before. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. Okay, gotcha. Have a great night, Yupin. Thank you again for the $25 super chat. I appreciate that a lot. Have a great, safe rest of your night. Thanks, Tabatha. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but I appreciate the compliment. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Thank you, Seth, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. I am so hungry. I really need to eat. Could have eaten before I went live. Let's see. I think we have another update. There's now a special weather statement for Westville, Barron, and Stillwell, Oklahoma until 10:45 tonight. 50-mile-per-hour gusty winds will be possible. So a little threat there. No, it's actually kind of crazy. And since we have a little downtime here for a moment, you know, for those that, you know, you guys kind of said this before a lot, but for those that are regular viewers here, you guys mentioned like you should get DoorDash on stream and stuff like that. And, you know, while you're streaming and whatnot to eat. And I was like, you know, it's not a horrible idea. But the thing is, you know, I got DoorDash a few weeks ago and I waited about an hour and a half until the driver finally showed up to my area. They drove around for a good 5 minutes and then messaged me and said, I'm not delivering your food, and just like brought it back to the restaurant. I was like, all right, I'm never using DoorDash again. That's my story. And the DoorDash support is awful, by the way. So that's another thing. That was the day before my birthday, actually. So yeah, that was an experience. I don't recommend DoorDash at all. They have horrible customer support. I'll say that. What am I gonna eat? That is a great question. I have no clue. Since it's about 11 o'clock now, I'll probably just have like rice or something. DoorDash isn't very good. I had it one time, not recently. The one time I had it about 2 months ago. The experience was actually pretty good. They delivered it in a timely manner. It was good. But yeah, it's just not worth it. It is a pain. When you have an order that just doesn't get delivered, it stinks. I just realized the description of this video or this live stream is not accurate at all. I have to remove that. I just realized that was from a past event. Let's do that. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. DoorDash is a bit of a joke. All right. Got here. But yeah, honestly, you know, the weather ahead is actually gonna be pretty nice. Actually, we do have a new severe thunderstorm watch, believe it or not, that was issued until 11 o'clock. We actually got a new one for another hour. This one is actually for those in Ardmore, Durant, which I'm kind of surprised how far back west this is. I'm pretty sure the dry line just moved through. Let me double check here. But this one just got extended now until 11 o'clock. This is a brand new one. Yeah, look at this. I'm really surprised how far back west this watch goes, but this area will not see severe weather tonight. It'll be only from here and east. So again, until 11 o'clock tonight, there is a brand new severe thunderstorm watch. That is for damaging winds up to 70 and even up to hen egg sized hail, but that's also a kind of a low threat right now. Yeah, that's the brand new severe thunderstorm watch that just got issued there. We still have a massive tornado watch until 5 a.m. tonight, which I will not be covering tonight, but there will be a potential for maybe a couple of tornadoes overnight tonight. Wouldn't rule out a strong tornado if any cells do become discrete. School closed? Really? For an enhanced risk? I've really never heard of schools closing for an entire day for severe weather. But tomorrow will be pretty active, especially in Alabama and Mississippi. And it'll go from late tomorrow morning through the afternoon. It's gonna be actually a pretty active day tomorrow. So, hey, stay safe, Bird. Stay safe. Bob, I used to be. College has put me outside of Texas. I loved eating. Honestly, if I was in Texas, I would probably have another 20 pounds on me. Texas is so good for their barbecue food. It is amazing. I need to go back to Texas at some point. I've not been there in like 3 years. Or not Culver's. Raising Cane's chicken fingers too. They are so good. I have none near me. Here we go. Hey, stay safe, Legacy. Stay safe. Hey, home, how you doing? Welcome on in. My school is closed tomorrow for the winter storm. Yeah, the winter storm is gonna be pretty wild too. This is the nationwide view of that, and the winter storm has already begun in northern Kansas and southern Nebraska. Some snow is beginning as well near Missouri. And yeah, this is gonna become a bit more organized overnight tonight. But yeah, there will be upwards of the potential for 48 inches of snow exist. We could get upwards of 10 inches in some areas, and some areas already in northern Kansas have seen already up to a half a foot. So there's been actually a pretty decent amount of snow so far tonight, and a lot more will be coming tomorrow for those in the Midwest, especially. Let's go over here and change that. We only have 1 tornado warning, and then we have 7 total warnings. There we go. Fix that. Thank you, Anthony and Monkey, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Bucky's is really good. Bucky's is awesome. I feel like their pulled pork or brisket or whatever got a little bit lower quality. Not as good as it used to be, but still good. Get some White Castles. I have never been to a White Castle, believe it or not. Getting 10 on the Wisconsin border. I wouldn't guarantee you get 10, but you'll probably get in the range of 6 to 10. I'll actually check real quick. I'm not sure what the HRR model has been spilling out there for snowfall totals back up in Wisconsin, but I'm guessing it's going to probably be in the 6 to 10 inch range. Actually, the HRR model has kept this system much further south than my forecast from the other day. Yeah, near Chicago. Chicago could actually get upwards of half a foot of snow now. For those that are wondering what I'm looking at, let me just change this over really quickly. This is back up in Wisconsin. Look at this. Or Illinois and Wisconsin. This is a bit further south than before, and this is the HR model. It might be a little bit different, but yeah, again, upwards of almost 10 inches of snow near Chicago possible. That's pretty wild. I mean, today, like, I was doing a forecast. Obviously, I posted a forecast earlier today on the severe weather outbreak, both today and tomorrow. And I didn't mention anything really about the winter storm because I just didn't have enough time in the forecast. It was 8 minutes with severe weather alone. So, but yeah, there's definitely some big changes there. Much higher than before. How much will Milwaukee get? Probably, well, I mean, with the latest model runs here, it doesn't look like much. Let me double check again here. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be between like 1 to 3, maybe a little bit more than that. Previously, I'm pretty sure you were closer to like 3 to 6 at least. Yeah, you're like in the 3 to 6 inch range, probably 2 to 4, 3 to 6. Can be kind of in that range there. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, has been issued for those in Savannah, McAllister, and Hartshorn. I don't know how you pronounce that. That's the new severe thunderstorm warning until 11 o'clock tonight for $half sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. McAllister Regional Airport is an airport that will also be impacted by this. Tornado warning is likely going to expire here. I'm kind of surprised they issued a new one so early, but I would not expect this tornado warning to continue. It's been a storm that has not been rotating nearly as much as previously, so that is definitely going to be a weakening cell here over the next little while. Mainly just severe storms for right now across Oklahoma and as well as in Arkansas and Tennessee. And that tornado warning actually just expired. All right, there we go. Let's go back over to here. Let me turn that off and let's change this. I'm not surprised that tornado warning got canceled either. Let's do that. On to the severe thunderstorm warning. Also, I got rid of the transition in between stuff just because it was not related to this page anymore. The flowers coming up. That's wild. Early in the year, too. For Illinois. It's crazy how it's 50 degrees today and it's going to snow tomorrow. That's the power of this low pressure system. It is a very strong low pressure system. I've been talking about this since last week. And, you know, the first low pressure system was kind of going to be on the weaker end. Bring a little winter storm and blizzard-like conditions to the northern plains, and then it would bring snow from the central plains back through the Midwest, and it has all unfolded as forecasted. It has been a very consistent forecast overall with the severe weather and all that sort of stuff. Not a whole lot has changed, and it's crazy. I mean, when you look at these forecasts, they do change a lot. Sometimes, like far out and stuff like that. This forecast has not changed much at all. It has been very, very consistent, to say the least. Which doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen all the time, especially 3 to 4 days out on severe weather and snow and stuff like that. But this has been awfully consistent. I've been talking about this since last week. It's been very consistent on videos and stuff like that, obviously. The winter storm warning says 6 to 10. I wouldn't rule out that high. I think it's a little bit aggressive. I would say 4 to 8 is a little bit more realistic. Maybe 3 to 6. But there might be upwards of, you know, I wouldn't rule out higher than that. I'm just saying it's a little more, for me, I would put it a little bit more conservatively. I feel like it's a bit of an aggressive push at the snowfall totals. By the way, the severe thunderstorm watch has now been canceled for the areas that I was kind of surprised that were included in this. Pauls Valley, Ardmore, you are done for tonight. And for those that are wondering, am I done with severe weather tonight? Well, good news. A lot of you are. The anywhere basically to the west of this line is done. I would pretty much consider this area here as well pretty much done tonight. There isn't anything that has developed yet, which is actually kind of wild. I was expecting at least some sort of small line of showers to develop. But this is, again, the live look in Lantana, Texas. This is in DFW, basically, in the Metroplex area. There's not a cloud in the sky. Look at this, by the way. If you look very closely, there's actually a plane right now in the sky there. You can see it. But yeah, this is, again, a live cam. And yeah, again, there's not a cloud in the sky. It's pretty wild. I at least expected a small, weak little area of showers. But we don't even have that here in North Texas. It's kind of wild. I really did expect a little bit more than that. I mean, I didn't expect a full-blown severe weather outbreak because of the cap, but yeah. There you go. That is how things have unfolded today here in the Metroplex in North Texas. Actually, by the way, we're only 5 likes from 300. If you've not already, make sure to hit the like button down below. I did not realize that. How much snow for the thumb of Michigan? You're the first person I think that has ever said the thumb of Michigan in my chat. I've covered snow in Michigan before, and I'm pretty sure nobody's ever called it the thumb. Let me check, though. I'm not entirely certain. It depends on where you are in the thumb of Michigan. Let's pull this up on this screen. Here's the snowfall estimates from the HRR model. Back over in Michigan. So, man, this chair is so uncomfortable. Pretty much for the most part, 4 to 8 inches in the central portions of the state. Detroit, probably a coating to an inch. But for the most part, the highest snowfall totals between 4 to 8. There might be upwards of 10 inches, though, in a couple of isolated spots. Yeah, that's the current snowfall estimates. Yeah, again, I was going to do a forecast on the snow, or the winter storm, excuse me, today, but yeah, again, there was just no way of me doing that in that forecast that we had today. I could have uploaded 2 forecasts, but that would have been a bit spammy. And again, if you're new to the stream, by the way, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It's that red button. You might not be subscribed. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell icon as well so you get notified as well when I go live for any of these severe weather events. We're only 32 subscribers from 32,200, so make sure to hit the subscribe button as well. Would appreciate it. Yeah, all right. Appreciate you tuning in, Bird. I guess so, home. I've never been to, I don't think I've ever been to Michigan. I'm trying to think, but I don't think I've really ever been there. This is a weird county. A side note here, really weird county here. Never seen a county look like that before. Yeah, again, severe weather should be not really ramping up in Oklahoma. This should be kind of like, it should have already peaked at this point, which I think it has. But this will be basically a disorganized cluster of storms moving into Arkansas over the next few hours. Severe thunderstorm watch does go until 3 a.m. tonight. We have a tornado watch as well that is extremely large that goes until 5 a.m. tonight. And that goes from Louisiana all the way into Tennessee. And this will be more of an overnight threat. Also, by the way, a hail report of $half sized hail about an hour ago, just north or just northwest of Memphis. So there has been some hail over there. But yeah, tornado threat will increase a little bit overnight tonight. I do not expect it to be substantial, significant, and widespread, but I would expect at least a couple of tornadoes overnight. So I have a way to receive alerts out that direction. But again, I do think the risk and the outlook and whatnot, I do think it's a little bit over forecasted there. But we'll see how it unfolds. You know, you never know. But it's going to be more of an overnight threat, though. It'll start more up at 11 o'clock or so, and then it'll go from there. I don't expect it to be super substantial. I don't think it's really, you know, there's a 10% probability of a tornado there, and it's an enhanced risk. But I just don't see it being really to fit in that 10% category. Or at least a significant 10%. I'd probably put it closer to the 5%, but we'll see what happens. I just don't see it being a huge event here overnight. You never know. Pretty sure NATO Cast was agreeing with that too. Let me double check. Because NATO Cast has been putting out a forecast for this. Yeah, this is NATO's. I mean, actually, they have a more recent one. Oh, that's for tomorrow. This is today's forecast, and I agree with this entirely. I haven't looked at their forecast today, but yeah, this is what they're forecasting for a tornado threat. The Storm Prediction Center is putting a 10% threat here. I don't see that still. I think the 5% is a bit more realistic there. Yeah, this is honestly what I'd probably go with anyways. Just my opinion. I do think this is a little bit of an over forecasted event here. Just I haven't seen a message from you, I don't think. Oh, never mind. I see one now. Just have a way to receive alerts. That's basically all I can tell you. I mean, Louisiana won't really see let me double check here, but I'm pretty sure you will not see much severe weather until overnight. Let me see here. I don't know if it's changed at all from when I last checked. The main, I mean, it depends on where you are in Louisiana, but the main concern will be tomorrow morning. So closer to like, so if you're near Shreveport, storms will be possible closer to 4 to 5 o'clock. Severe weather will ramp up tomorrow morning primarily, though. It'll be more of a morning threat for you. So between about 5 a.m. and after that till about 12 o'clock. Thank you, Legacy. Sorry, oh, it actually says -1. I didn't even realize that. My bad. But yeah, 5 a.m. to about 12. And another severe thunderstorm warning up there just expired. Or got canceled by the National Weather Service here. Reed is heading to Arkansas. That's good. I'm not sure if there will be a whole lot there in Arkansas either, unless you're in like eastern Arkansas. That might be a better place to be, but... Anything else for North Texas tonight? Not really. No, it should be a pretty limited evening. Maybe an isolated storm in northeast North Texas, but that'd be about it. Alrighty. Well, I do appreciate everybody tuning into this live stream this evening. That's going to be it. I am starving, and again, I was only planning on being live for a maximum of 2 hours anyways, and we've actually been about 2 hours. So if you're anywhere in these areas, again, Tornado Watch goes until 5 a.m. tonight. For those anywhere in Louisiana, all the way back through Tennessee, again, make sure I have a way to receive alerts tonight, and I will not be live overnight, obviously. I'm already tired to begin with, but make sure I have a way to receive alerts. There are going to be plenty of severe storms out there tonight throughout Oklahoma, Arkansas, and all the way back through Tennessee. But if you want to support the page above and beyond before you leave, make sure at the like button down below and subscribe. And you can become a member for as little as $2.99 a month. Join our member crew. You get access to bloopers and much more. You can click the join button down below if you're interested. It is a great perk, by the way. Bloopers are hilarious. Make sure to check that out if you are a member already. And that's it for this live stream. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night. And I don't know if we will not have a video tomorrow, but if there's any severe weather after 5 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time, I will try to go live, but no guarantees there. We'll see what happens, but I might be able to go live after 5. I will not be live, though, for the most of the event tomorrow that happens for the severe weather. All right, appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a safe rest of your night, guys, and we will see you guys all again soon. Thanks for tuning in.